Just hopping on real quick while I got the chance. I got the chance to hop on, so I'm gonna do so. Um, I just wanted to talk very briefly today about boundaries and um, having self-respect and creating boundaries for ourselves in the name of self-respect. Um, I think that when you are on a healing journey or when you're just trying to succeed in life in general, you don't have time for um, people disrespecting you or people being rude or mean or people that are in your life that aren't meant to pour into you. And I know that that sometimes looks like family or loved ones. And I do want to tread lightly with this conversation because I do feel like oftentimes, um, uh, you know, it can it can get pretty tense when you're like, I'm creating a boundary. I don't want to speak to you. Um, and I've gotten to a place to where I know how to have boundaries. I know how to hold my boundaries up, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to like cut somebody off completely. It just means that the way that we interact with one another may be different. Hey Gerard, how you doing? How you doing today? What's the weather like out there in Atlanta, right? You in Atlanta. Um, but yeah, I think that it's really um, important to still do and have boundaries in love. I don't think that it's something that you have to get hella upset or be, oh, it's hot. It's pretty warm out here today too. Um, it's not something that you have to get so frustrated about that you cannot ever talk to this person again. Now, sometimes yes, sometimes yes, sometimes if someone is causing you harm, um, I there's no one on here but me and you, Gerard. But I do these lives every day talking about how I am um how I'm approaching my healing journey so that I can continue to have a internet diary and a journal of exactly what it looked like for me to walk through my healing process and my journey. So I'm talking about boundaries today and about how creating boundaries sometimes can be difficult. Sometimes I do think that when you're creating boundaries, um, you may need to cut somebody off for a period of time. But um, like say you need to develop the strength to like not be pulled into like certain types of drama, right? So you like, you know what, I'm gonna just chill on that person for a little bit until I've built up the strength and the peace within me to not like engage when they're like being negative, right? And so I just think that sometimes it's the people that are in our life, they're in our lives. Like they may be a family member, it may be a loved one, it may be a co-parent situation. And so I think a lot of times it's easy to just be like, I'm never talking to you again. I hate you. I'm never talking to you again. I think it's a lot more difficult um, to examine what pisses you off about that person, because a lot of times the things that piss us off about other people is something that we fear in ourselves, or it's something that it's a reflection of us, or something that we really don't want to do, or we really don't want to be like this. But I think that difficult relationships are here to teach us how to be better people, how to have more patience, or how to have more of whatever it is that is triggered by that person. And so, when you're creating boundaries, I think that it's really just how you want to be treated and how you treat yourself. Like for instance, during my healing journey, I have been very adamant about affirmations and self talk and how I talk to myself. So uh, I was listening to like some of the Louise Hay stuff, and a thing that really stuck out to me is when she talked about how, how would you talk to your child? How would you talk to your baby? However you talk to your baby, however you talk to your child, that's how you should talk to yourself. And so that really hit home for me because when I talk to my son, I'm always like really, really sweet and come here, baby, unless he's doing something he ain't got no business doing, then I'm stern. But outside of that, I'm always very loving, kind, and sweet to my child. And I don't treat myself like that. Well, I hadn't been treating myself like that. And so I had to really change the way that I talk to myself, the things that I speak into my life. And I had to learn how to, it's okay, baby Brittany. It's all right. I still love you. I understand you're going through it. You're gonna make it. You're gonna be all right. Instead of always just being like, why are you keep? How many times do you have to do this? You stupid. Like you don't realize that this is that. Da, 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 da. Like just really talking to myself in a horrible manner. And it's like, if you're talking to yourself like that, then how can you sit up here and tell somebody else not to? And at the end of the day, I feel like people always notice stuff in us before we notice it. So someone can see you from a mile away and they'll be like, mm, yeah, I could see she ain't loving on herself right. And so, or he ain't loving on himself right. And so, I think when you begin to do that, when you begin to love yourself in a way that is, what you want and what you're saying you want for your life, um, it's very apparent. And so people treat you accordingly. And I think that's a boundary, right? Like how I treat myself um, is me developing my boundaries and it's me learning what I actually like, which is why I think it's really important that um, when you are exploring relationships and just in life, like all different types of relationships, right? It's really important to have solitude and have time to reflect with yourself so that you know what you actually want. Even if you're in a relationship, I think it's really important that you have time to self reflect, that you have time to be away from that person. I think that's really healthy. Even, you know, a lot of our grandparents did it, but a lot of our grandparents slept in separate rooms. And um, now I actually see how that could be very healthy. Like for me to have, oh, I got this whole thing out. For me to have like my own space and me to be able to go to another room or decorate my room how I want to decorate it, have my room smelling like I want my room to smell, looking girly, and and then he has his own room or whatever. And then maybe we share rooms or we get to have sleepovers or whatever. But I think it's really healthy to have separate rooms and to have space. And to be able to explore what it is that you actually want for yourself. A lot of times you get in relationships and it's everything about what y'all do as a unit. Y'all probably start going to the movies, you start fishing or camping. Every couple has their stuff that they do. And over time you do so much stuff as a couple, you have no idea who you are anymore. And I think just me personally being not necessarily fresh out of a relationship, but I do kind of consider it still fresh. We had been transitioning for a while out of the relationship, but we moved separate in November of last year, and so um, I'm relearning. I'm relearning what I want, what I like. I'm redefining my life. Um, when you're with someone, especially if you have a family with someone, you start planning your life and you start thinking about all these different things of like, all right, so where the kids gonna go? What we gonna do with the kids? Where do you want to live? Well, what do you want this? You want this in the house? You need this in the house? It's just, it's birthdays, it's holidays. You got to split the holidays up. Like, we going to be with your family, we're going to be with my family. And so now that I'm like, just, all right, it's all it is just what I want and what Brittany wants to do and what, um, me and Kai, my son, what we're doing now. Um, it I really love the freedom. I love the freedom of that, and I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for my relationship because I really believe that that relationship taught me what I want, what I really want, who I am, um, and it taught me what I will not accept. Um, and it also taught me that I'm really powerful and I'm courageous. I think oftentimes as women, you know, you have a child with someone, it's really hard to leave, and I'm really proud of myself um, for leaving in a situation that wasn't right for me, right? And and I think that sometimes you can get stuck, and I was for a long time. I was stuck in a space where I just that didn't think that I could survive it. Honestly, I really was just like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna take the trash out? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? And it's like now I realize, like, girl, you are perfectly fine. Like you can survive. You will survive. And not only will you survive, you will thrive and you will be well and you will be living your best life. And so, but I also realized that a lot of women that are in relationships, especially sometimes even like a healthy relation, well, not necessarily healthy, but like sometimes when you're in a relationship where there's no sign of like like turmoil, or like there's no like toxicity, and like it might not be completely healthy, but it might be just good enough to where it's like, we got stuff, every relationship, we got stuff to work out, but we won't be separating. Here I come, baby. um this might cut out because I gotta go help my son, but hold on, Kai, I gotta let me see, I gotta put some shoes on. But I think that people sometimes in relationships, they sometimes it may be hard to leaving your partner out, or you're being selfish. Hmm, let me help you.
Let me help you.
Yep, let me help you. There you go. You so funny, Kai. Um, and so yeah, it can be really hard to like just remember, like, man, who was I before this? Who was I before this relationship? What did I like to do before this? Um, and over time, like I said, that can become so unclear after years and years of spending time with someone else. So I just think it's really important to have a list of things, um, not like a list or like, but I just think it's really important that we know what we need to be healthy, happy, um, at peace, right? We need to know what that's like to be that for ourselves, outside of anyone else, outside of our parents, outside of what our friends want for our lives, outside of what our spouses or our significant others want for our lives. We really have to understand and know exactly what it is that we like and we love. And to me, that is a boundary. It's a boundary. It's like these are the key things that I cannot go without. I don't care if it's I gotta have a peanut butter and jelly every Friday, and I need to toast it with a little bit of butter. Whatever that thing is, I think it's really important that we identify that, and that we always remember it so that we don't lose ourselves, and so that we don't get to a point where our happiness is tied to someone else's. Um, and yeah, I think that's really what boundaries are about. And I think you know um I have struggled with like people pleasing and wanting to just kind of adapt. I'm a very adaptable person, and I think the older I've gotten, and now that I have a child of my own, and just learning more about myself, I am becoming more familiar with, like, oh, I don't like when I am somewhere and it's not just, this is really like basic level stuff. Like, I don't like when I'm somewhere and it's not clean. I don't like when Um, things don't smell nice. I don't like when I like to be in like luxury. I like bougie stuff. I like sunlight. I like nice outfits. Like it's a lot of things that I like. And they make me who I am, right? They make me um like it's a makeup of my personality. Like I like clean sheets. Like I like to get in my covers at night and my sheets smell like lavender, and it's just those little things that you think they're little things, you think they're simple, but if you don't have them you start to feel off balance, and then you start to feel stressed, depressed. You start to feel like I don't know who I am anymore. Or it might look like something extravagant as like every year I need to go to Africa for 6 months. I need to go to New York for the summer. It's just different things. Or like I need to make sure that I pray, I meditate. I need to stretch every single morning for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And if you don't do that, then your body starts to feel out of whack, and then you start to get grumpy, cranky, um whatever the feelings are when you are off balance. um and so, like I said, I do think that that can be difficult over time when you are with someone and that you guys are kind of like meshing your lives together, and um you forget. And that's like even like um as children, children growing up, you might just be so used to the life that you are having at home with your parents, right? And so then when you get to a point to where you're graduating high school or whatever, and you leave home, then you're like, I don't know what I like to do. I don't know who I am. I don't know, and you may have not had the time to really be separate from your family, or you may have not had the time to develop or like learn about different things that you like. I think, as a parent, I really want to make sure that I allow my son, and it's hard, right? It's hard as a parent because you want to keep your children safe. You also kind of, it's almost like you're curating your children's lives. You're curating an experience for them that you hope that will help them have all the qualities that they need to succeed and be great people. But I just hope that I can be the type of parent that allows my son to explore and to be himself and to learn what it is that he likes to do. And not to just, I don't want him to just only be interested in sound healing and singing and, the stuff that I like. He likes basketball. So I think I'm really happy he likes basketball because I actually like basketball too. And I played basketball all throughout school. And so I'm really glad that he likes that. It's one thing that I know he likes that I like. But if he likes something else, I want to encourage him to like that as well. Look, he's outside right now playing basketball. I'll turn my camera on. Mm, I don't know how to do it. I'm acting old. Well, he's outside playing basketball right now. And so, um, I hope that I can be the type of mother that nurtures his hopes, his dreams, and I hope that he truly has a sense of who he is and who he wants to be. And I hope that I can just give him space and room for that. And we all deserve that. We all deserve space and room to know what it is that we want for our lives in the smallest of details. In the smallest of details. I don't care if it's I like a little bit of salt in my oatmeal. I like the sugar in it, but I also like a little bit of salt. Or like like I need just 1 tablespoon of butter. All those things matter. Those things matter. Um, and I just think that they matter because, you know, when when you lose one of them, right? Like say you just lose one, um, you know, you just lose one little thing, like something as simple as the oatmeal, right? Like, man, I don't got no salt to put in my oatmeal, and then over time, it's like, oh, man, now I got this mattress. It's not a spring mattress, it's a memory foam mattresses, and they make me hot. And you know, over time that starts to accumulate, and then it starts to ruin the quality of your life. So I really think it is a huge part of us healing to make sure that we know exactly what we want, we know how to achieve exactly what we want, and we're intentional about achieving that, and we're intentional about having balance in our life. Having balance, having boundaries, healthy, you know, relationships with the people that are in our lives, whether they be family or relationship, friendships. Um, it's just important that we know who we are so that we don't get lost. And um, not only who we are, but what we stand for, like our values, what we're grounded in, what we really want for our lives, and not just the surface level stuff. I think that it's all important, but it's like, who do you really want to be? Like, what type of person do you really want to be? Um, Deep down inside, do you want to be a good person? Do you want to be somebody who just get money, or do you want to be somebody who helps people? And I think, and not saying that you cannot change, because you can change. You can have certain values when you're younger, and then when you're older you're like, no, I actually want to be, I want to be a family person, I want to be a family man, I want to be a family woman, or you know what, I just want to be about me right now, I just want to travel, I want to see the world. It's okay to change. It's okay to switch stuff up. But at the end of the day, I think it's just really important, um, and that you stick to it, and you always make space and time to do so. That's all I got to talk about today. Like I said, I just really wanted to hop on really quick. I've been doing my live hella late for like the last week or so, so this is the first time that I have some time to kind of just tap in earlier in the day, and it's nice. It's nice. So I'm going to go spend some time with my son, feed my son, and enjoy my day. I hope you do too.